Hi, my name is Ashton Bowen. I am a senior at UTSA. This is my final semester. I am a communication major, and after graduation, I plan to take a semester off, and then in fall 2021, I plan to attend graduate school to get a degree in film to eventually pursue a career in the film industry, whether that be producing, screenwriting, anything like that. Really anything in the film industry I'm open to. A time that I was a hero in my personal life came about in the midst of this entire pandemic. So I have been working at a daycare for the past 3.5 years. And once coronavirus hit, it was really nerve-wracking just because it is such a high-risk area with kids and being prone to spread germs and all that. And it was really uncertain times whether or not we would even stay open. But we ended up staying open, and every week, we would hear about how daycares across Texas were being hit with coronavirus and how easily it spread there. And from the very beginning, I was always someone who was very cautious, and I knew how dangerous it really could be. So my goal was always to keep myself safe and most importantly, keep my family safe. And so being the only one working in my house, I knew that it was very important for me to take the necessary precautions. So I solely went from work to home. I never went anywhere else. And for a while it worked, and I felt that I was being safe. And then in the middle of August, I started to feel weird, and everyone was so convinced that I was just stressed. And, of course I had been stressed just from everything going on. And then I decided that it would be best for me to go get tested because I had been around kids for the past months, and I have coworkers and all of that, and they're not necessarily staying home and being as precautious as I was. And so I decided to go get tested. And on the second day of waiting for my test results, I was told that I was in fact in contact with someone who had tested positive for coronavirus from my work. And so I immediately told my mom to put in place the plan that we had already pre-planned if one of us were to get coronavirus, which was a separate room in our house, which has its own bathroom. And there was a bed in there, and that's about it. And I told my mom to put me in there because now that I was exposed, the likelihood that I was going to test positive was high. So I told her to put me in there, even though everyone was convinced that I was going to test negative and that I was just stressed. So I decided to stay in there. And the waiting period to get my test results was so brutal. I waited 10 days to get my results, and those 10 days were so isolating. I did nothing but lay in bed and watch movies, which sounds fun, but it was so isolating, and every day just seemed to drag, and it was so frustrating because I wanted my results, because if everyone was so convinced I was negative, then I wanted to be negative, and I knew that if my test results were negative, then I can get out of the room. But on the 10th day, I finally got my results, and unfortunately they were positive. But after that point, it became easier to stay in that room because I knew that I was doing it for a purpose, and that I had made the sacrifice to stay in that room for all that time, and it was the right call because I was positive and I was able to keep myself away from my family and keep them safe. And so my test results were positive, and at that point it was just a waiting game to recover. And so a week later, I was able to get retested, and unfortunately that one was also positive, and I needed a negative result to be able to go back to work. And then a week after that, I retested, and it was finally negative, which was a very emotional thing for me, just because I knew that I had made it through such a contagious and dangerous virus without infecting anyone in my family, and that was the ultimate goal, and that was the goal from the very beginning, was to keep everyone safe. And so I was just really glad that I was able to do that. My top 3 goals for this class are to better strengthen my communication skills, whether that be through presentations like this one or any other mode of communication. I hope to better understand mass communication, especially its role in society and how it pertains to the film industry, which I plan to go into. And lastly, I hope to strengthen writing skills, which I know is very important for film, and then also just general life and things like that.